Singapore Airlines or Vietnam Airlines? Which one offers a better business class experience? Today we'll share our first-hand experiences. While you may argue that Singapore Airlines is unbeatable, our journey had some surprising revelations. Starting with the booking process, Singapore Airlines shines with its extensive network, flying to 120 destinations around the globe. Other than Asia, this includes hotspots in North America, Europe, Africa, and the snake-infested wasteland they call Australia. The booking system of Singapore Airlines is easy to use, provided you know how to use the internet, which I guess you know since you're watching this video. The website is intuitive, fast and hassle-free, which cannot be taken for granted in a time where there are still a scaring number of airlines that have websites that look like they come straight from the 90s. Also, the website of Vietnam Airlines seems like it has arrived in the 21st century, at least to some extent. I mean, the booking process was a bit of an adventure with multiple rebookings adding a touch of unpredictability to the mix, but overall, it worked. On the other hand, the choices of places to fly to isn't huge with Vietnam Airlines. With around 60 destinations, they cover only about half of what Singapore Airlines does. But here's where things get interesting: the price. Singapore Airlines offers top-tier service, but it comes with a hefty price tag. If you're booking with cash and not miles or upgrades, be prepared to pay a premium, sometimes thousands of dollars more than you would with Vietnam Airlines. Vietnam Airlines wins the affordability contest hands down. Their prices are significantly more reasonable, making it a fantastic choice for travelers who want to experience the luxury of business class without draining their bank accounts. So, despite the challenges with rebooking, Vietnam Airlines gets the first point for offering a much more wallet-friendly option. When it comes to getting great value, they're the clear winner here. But the real twist unfolds during the check-in. My Singapore Airlines adventure begins in Barcelona. I'm greeted by an exceptionally friendly staff member at a dedicated business class check-in counter. So I'm just checking. Check-in agent was very friendly. I got my boarding pass. With it I got access to the Miro business class lounge and also to the fast track. Now, I did hit a slight snag. Online check-in wasn't working because the system insisted on a visa check, even though as a Swiss citizen I didn't need one. Annoying, yes, but once that was sorted, everything moved swiftly. There were no waiting times at the counter and the staff member couldn't have been nicer. Plus, there's a separate security check for business class passengers. It was busy since the guy at the X-ray machine did his legally required siesta, but still a breeze compared to the regular security line. However, with Vietnam Airlines, trying to find a priority check was like being on a treasure hunt with no map. They say it exists, but good luck finding it. The airport was a chaotic jungle packed with passengers and long winding lines that nobody really respected. The guy at the check-in counter was super nice, but the wait was excruciating. The same goes for security. Priority security also wasn't available that evening somehow, so you'll end up waiting over an hour in the standard line. The contrast between the two experiences was stark. Singapore Airlines had me feeling pampered from the get-go, despite a minor hiccup with the online check-in. Vietnam Airlines, on the other hand, was a lesson in patience and perseverance. The friendly staff did their best, but the overall experience was far from seamless. In the grand scheme of things, a smooth check-in and security process can set a tone for your entire journey. Singapore Airlines nailed it, making me feel like a valued passenger from the moment I arrived. Vietnam Airlines, however, might leave you wishing for a bit more organization and efficiency. But let's be real, if that's what you're after, Vietnam might not be the place for you. This country is renowned for its incredible food, breathtaking landscapes and rich culture. But for its precision and order,
not so much.
We can't blame the airline for the airport mess. However, we can definitely blame them for their Vietnam Airlines Lotus Business Class Lounge. Imagine walking into a space that resembles a crowded cafeteria with dirty tables and staff that look like they've lost all will to live. Not exactly the luxury experience you'd hope for when you're flying business class, right? That was the Vietnam Airlines lounge. More canteen than lounge. Now, Singapore Airlines doesn't have its own lounge in Barcelona, but they do tap into the extensive network of Star Alliance partner lounges. Typically, this means you're lounging in the facilities of other flag carriers like Swiss, Lufthansa or United. But here's where things get interesting. Barcelona is primarily served by Iberia, a One World member, so no major Star Alliance lounges here. Instead, you get access to a public lounge that serves all Star Alliance airlines and priority pass holders. It seems like everyone and their grandma has decided to fly Star Alliance today. Most of the seats are occupied and you have to scout for a spot like you're hunting for a parking space at the mall during Christmas. Despite the crowd, this lounge is leagues ahead of the Vietnam Airlines lounge. It's much nicer with comfy seating and a far superior culinary selection. I couldn't help but appreciate the difference. The food was diverse and actually tasted good. There were fresh salads, warm dishes and a variety of drinks. It was a kind of place where you could actually relax and feel like you're about to embark on a premium journey. So, even though the Singapore Airlines partner lounge in Barcelona was bustling, it was still a heaven compared to the chaotic cafeteria-like experience of the Vietnam Airlines lounge. In terms of ground experience, Singapore Airlines wins hands down, making me feel like a valued guest rather than the no-name wannabe vlogger that I am. So, the point for lounge experience clearly goes to Singapore Airlines, no contest here. However, my Singapore Airlines flight is about an hour late, which allows me plenty of time to play airline spotter and admire the surrounding planes. Despite the delay, I can't board first because the separation between priority and regular boarding is, well, let's say mediocre. On the bright side, business class passengers do get to board through a separate door. Before boarding, I take a moment to appreciate the sleek beauty of our brand new A350-900. This aircraft is a real head-turner. I try to keep my cool, but honestly I'm almost wetting my pants with excitement about stepping on board. For Vietnam Airlines, the story is much the same with a delay of almost an hour. Today's plane, a Boeing 787, was a last-minute switch from an A350 to an A321 and finally to the Boeing 787. Speaking of bad quality, the boarding process is a complete circus. Also, everyone boards through the same door, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a business class boarding. So for the boarding process, it's thrilling for the plane geeks, but a hot mess organizationally. No points for either airline here. But let's talk hard product. Singapore Airlines Business Class is a revelation. The seats are enormous and fully adjustable, offering a comfort level that feels like a high-end spa. The sheer number of lights and lamps, all customizable, creates a personalized sanctuary in the sky, and the in-flight entertainment on a massive screen just seals the deal. Vietnam Airlines holds its own with a spacious comfy cabin and large seats typical of the 787 business class found on many airlines. While the branding isn't as strong as Singapore Airlines, the seats are still fully adjustable with decent IFE and lighting options, though less customizable. I genuinely love Vietnam Airlines' hard product. It ticks almost every box for a long-haul business class flight. However, when stacked against Singapore Airlines A350, the latter edges out with its extra customizable options, space and uniquely luxurious atmosphere. But hold on, what's just as crucial as the hard product? The crew, of course. But before we dive into that, let's talk about the food. By the way, if you're interested in watching a socially awkward but honest alcoholic trying airlines from around the globe, feel free to subscribe or check out my other videos. Vietnam Airlines offers a choice between two hot dishes, a vegetarian option and a meat option. Both look fantastic, beautifully presented and mouth-wateringly delicious. Meanwhile, my Singapore Airlines flight from Barcelona to Milan is only about 20 minutes shorter than the 2-hour 10-minute flight from Ho Chi Minh City to Hanoi. But there's no hot meal, just a sandwich. Though I must admit it's a really tasty and nicely presented sandwich. However, when it comes to catering on this particular flight, Vietnam Airlines takes the lead. But let's get to what truly makes or breaks the experience, the crew. On Vietnam Airlines, there's a brief greeting at the door. Once all the economy passengers have boarded and the business class cabin is clear, they start handing out welcome drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Then they run through the dinner options. The crew is attentive and friendly without being overbearing. You feel welcomed on board and can tell they are well trained. Singapore Airlines, however, takes it to another level. The crew is incredibly friendly, addressing me by name, which adds a nice personal touch. They are professional and highly attentive, sometimes bordering on too deferential for my taste, but overall they exude international hospitality excellence. While the Vietnam Airlines crew is great, Singapore Airlines crew is in a league of their own. And speaking of world class, Turkish Airlines is another top contender. Click here to watch my review of their business class. Thanks for watching and see you next time with a new and fresh trip report.